Ever since I was a kid, I've had this vision, this dream so clear. But even though I'm living it now, something started to shift. So I began to map it out until it hit me. I thought I was the only one driving my life. Well, those moments were shaping me. I spent months on this film thinking it would give me all the answers. But what if the real journey isn't about finding them? What if it's about letting the questions change you? I'll never forget that moment during my film in Norway for a French TV channel. It was freezing, and for a moment, my mind shut off. All I felt was the raw wilderness around me. And then the northern lights lit up the sky. Have you ever had a moment where everything suddenly made sense? In that instant, everything became clear to me. I wasn't chasing a dream. I was on a mission to make it happen. Since then, I've become a documentary filmmaker, sharing impactful stories with the world. But let's be honest, it hasn't always been easy. The journey to get here was filled with frustrations, sacrifices, and moments of doubt. Yet, it's in those challenges that I found clarity, in solitude, in taking risks. And that's where the biggest lessons lie, in what doesn't make it to the screen. You know, there's something magical about seeing the world through a camera. These colors, faces, and moments, everything seems more vivid, more alive. But it's not just about capturing beauty. It's about thinking beyond the surface, beyond what's easy, and finding the stories that truly matter. The stories that shape not just the films, but the filmmaker. For me, that moment in Norway was a wake-up call. Suddenly, seeing the world through my camera became more than just a passion, but a calling. But you know, this channel isn't just about sharing my films and mindset with you. It's the call to all dreamers to embrace their vision, to dare boldly, and to realize that living true to your dreams can make a real difference. It seems like it's always happening when you're far from all that noise. In this emptiness, that you start to ask yourself, is it worth it? I feel like I'm chasing a mirage in search of accomplishment. And I start to wonder, what if the documentaries I never made, the ones rejected for reasons beyond me, were the ones that mattered most? So let me share a story with you about how a single vision led me to film the world's most fascinating cultures, to form friendships on the coldest nights, and reach millions of people through TV and screens. It's about the journey, isn't it? Not just the films or the recognition, but the story behind every shot, every decision, every challenge. You know, I spent most of my life behind a camera, telling stories that I hoped would inspire. Over the last 10 years, I've traveled the world, filming documentaries for TV brands and medias. Like many artists, I felt stuck, playing it safe. But what if a new mindset could help us break free from that? It's not just about the films I've made, but the person I've become along the way. And now, after months of reflecting on all the key moments in my career, how these opportunities shaped my life, it's clear to me. That's why I decided to step into the light and start a whole new story here. It's about understanding the bigger picture, the story behind the story. It's about leaving a legacy that more than just words, but actions that make a difference. And that's what I'm ready to share with you now. So it all started here, right in the heart of the Scottish Highlands. If you've been there, you know the feeling. Those rainy, magical landscapes that seem straight out of a storybook.
Go, go, go! Oh mate, we've just been absolutely whitewashed. This is our home, this is our vehicle, and this is what we've got to spend the next bloody 2 weeks.
I still remember that journey like it was yesterday. Honestly, if someone had told me back then that this film would end up being the turning point in my life. Back then, it was just the three of us. 3 friends just starting our careers, holding our first cameras. It was 2015, and we shared the same vision, to become more than just filmmakers. We wanted to use our camera as a shortcut to explore the world, diving into those stories that make you feel alive. The idea was simple. What if we let ourselves be guided by the unknown, capturing it all without a script or plan? From the start, it wasn't clear for us, but we had this flame within us, this vision that animated us. And this road trip, it turned out to be more than just a trip. It was our rite of passage, our personal awakening. In a place where nature had reclaimed its power, its voice. And after a few days, it became clear, and we had named it Isolation. This film, it was our guiding light. It pushed us to forge our own path.
Shit,
We realized that by following the unknown, we had found something important: clarity. This trip challenged us to the duality of our lives. The isolation we feel in our crowded cities, and the way disconnecting from all that noise can actually make life richer and deeper. It was a sincere call to live in the present and not to the beauty of now.
Hello? Is it on?
And just like that, everything's changed. I was finally part of something I could truly be proud of. And to our biggest surprise, this film resonated with millions of people around the world. We were not young dreamers anymore, but professionals whose work was making waves. That's when my life as a filmmaker really began. But after a while, something started to shift. I've always had these strong ambitions, these visions for something more. Telling stories that resonate with me, stories that could inspire and reach an even wider audience. That's always been my dream. And honestly, ever since I was a kid, TV was where I wanted to be. It felt like the place where my work could really make a difference, where I could share my stories with the world. but it seems unreachable. It was almost Christmas here in Paris when I found myself connected with a complete stranger from up north in Norway. Have you ever had a moment like that where something unexpected changes everything? Thibaut has been living alone for months in his wooden cabin, dedicating his time training his 16 sled dogs for a renowned race. He was looking for someone to document his challenge in exchange of flight tickets and a roof. But what if I could get this project linked to a TV channel? You know, this guy has such a crazy life ripped for TV doc. But I didn't have any contact in the TV industry and dealing with producers who didn't want to take a risk on a young filmmaker like me. They wanted a buyer lined up before they would even think about sending me over there. And let's face it, that could take months of waiting with no guarantees. I listened to that gut feeling that always guided me through the unknown, and I hopped on a plane to Norway, but this time with a new vision and a brand new camera. I remember how it felt each morning, waking up at dawn to film him caring for his dogs, building that incredible bond with his Alaskan Husky pack. They were more than pets for him, they were his teammates in his upcoming challenge. For 10 days, I followed his routine, trying to connect with someone I barely knew. Filming under conditions I would never experience back in Paris. And when you're immersed in projects like this, you tend to forget yourself and get used to uncertainties without fully realizing what you're experiencing. To me, he embodied the essence of perseverance and courage, values I've been waiting to capture through a project for a while.
Now we have a new measure from France. It's Thibaut Brancourt. 39.
You know, that sport is so demanding that few outsiders dare to participate. It's a discipline that requires an unwavering commitment. Especially for him, coming from northern France, a region with no snow or open space, making his life even more challenging. And witnessing the life of a man with that level of tenacity and doing so much sacrifices, it was like a total devotion to his dream and aspirations. But he wasn't the only one pushing his limits. Looking back on his footage, living out of my comfort zone, it's not clear. In Thibaut, I saw a reflection of my own journey. The struggles of a young director, the doubts of others. Even though this project still remained a mystery, I was working on it with real ambitions. Back in Paris, we started pitching this project as a TV doc. Let me tell you, it was a struggle. Have you ever worked so hard on something, thinking it will finally open doors, only to find yourself hitting wall after wall? That's what we faced. We had a short film as a trailer. You would think that would make things easier, but it didn't. Yet it took a year. A whole year of meetings, maybes and rejections, all across France. Still, a French channel and a production company showed some interest. But of course there was a catch. They had their own vision. and that meant we had to adapt. They only allowed us a one-man filming crew. Yeah, just one person to film it all. Me. And the script started to change and change again. Our vision started shifting, and honestly, the challenge felt massive. But then Kibo came up with a bold script to compete in a Finnmark Loppet, one of Europe's toughest sled dog race, where only a third of the participants crossed the finish line. But still, we finally find a way to tell this story that would inspire those who dare to dream big. So, fast forward exactly 2 years and 3 months after Thibaut and I met and dared to dream of getting our film on TV. We were this close. We only had 10 more days of shooting left for the final, most crucial thing, Thibaut's race. A 600 kilometers non-stop challenge with almost no sleep in brutal conditions. And then, get this, I get a call from the producers. They want to replace me with one of their TV filmmakers. I know, right? Well, apparently they didn't believe in our vision nor my abilities anymore. They didn't want to risk it with someone as new as me. I feel completely betrayed. Imagine being kicked off of your own project that you handed them on a silver platter. I was this close to giving up, but then here's the twist. A week before the race, they called back, and now they are in full-on panic mode. Turns out, they couldn't find anyone willing to film under those crazy tough conditions. No kidding, right? So, I swallowed my pride and I get back to it. Finish what we started. You know, this whole thing taught me something big. Filmmaking isn't just about the stories we choose to tell, but about the ones that demand to be told, no matter the challenges. But the full story, I'm saving that for another video, because today I want to focus on something more important, that final week of shooting. Alright, let's get to the end of it. I only had 1 week left. So here I am, in Finnmark, in the far north of Norway, a place I always dreamed of experiencing, where life is as wild as it gets. But I brought my best friend Florian along, because the big day had come and we knew tough times were ahead. So picture this. Our mission was to track Thibaut and his dogs using a GPS for 4 days straight, no rest, just following him as he raced 600 kilometers across the frozen wilderness of Finnmark, with minus 30 degrees as a new normal. As a filmmaker, you have to be there every step of the way. At the checkpoints where feed these dogs on frozen lakes, in forest, day and night. There's no room for mistakes. You capturing the essence of his struggle while trying not to freeze or lose your gear. Because there's no backup. You know, at the start of the film, I had this feeling that I was meant for this life. It was during those moments, surrounded by the northern lights, fighting the storms and exhaustion, that you start questioning your whole life. Those dark thoughts creep in when you're already on the edge and you start to doubt. And that's when things became clear. this film wasn't just for me anymore, but for you, the viewers. And that's what you do. You holding on to your dreams, the real one. This story, my story, I'm sharing it with you, but above all, for me. Despite all the struggles and feelings of betrayal, the film found its way. It wasn't just aired on one channel, it was broadcast worldwide and celebrated at prestigious documentary festivals. It's a reminder that no matter the challenges, no matter the endless nights and storms, there's always a reward. Living so far from my comfort zone, not knowing what would happen next, I discovered an incredible potential for growth. It's not just the moments of joy that count, but the tough times, the doubts, the suffering, and the rejections. It's all that too that build your strength and shape your vision. When you go through these trials, you're not just surviving, you're building piece by piece the person you're destined to become. Wake up. You know, there's moments in life when you realize you're not exactly where you wanted to be. And it has nothing to do with what we've experienced, but everything to do with listening to the right thoughts. Then reality catches up with you and you think you have time. I mean, I became just another filmmaker in a world where business and numbers seems to matter more than the stories and the people behind them. I spent so many days writing, learning, often alone, trying to make sense of it all in a city that never sleeps. I devoted months into a project that seems to interest no one. It felt like I was stuck in a loop, repeatedly has to follow a formula that had worked before, to replicate the same expertise over and over again. But what if I could go even further? No matter how tough things get, you keep going. In those moments of solitude, you find the strength to keep pushing, to question yourself, to push beyond the doubts. And maybe it's in those quiet, certain times that the essence of our quest really becomes clear. It grows stronger and pulls us closer to our dreams. If I'm here now, it's not because I'm especially good or just lucky. It took a lot of sacrifices and risks. But through it all, I held on to that vision. It never left me. After all these years, that vision has become my reality, my routine. Now I travel the world, making films, living those unique experiences I always dreamed of. And you know, those moments are captured in photos and videos. They mean more to me than I ever imagined. Every shot, every frame, is like a piece of myself in those images. And that's what truly makes me feel alive. So whether you've been a filmmaker or photographer for years, or just starting out with an ambition, my advice is simple. Take a camera, follow your vision, and share it with the world. When you go to the Arctic, don't just marvel at the endless ice. Stand still, watch it melt year by year, taking more than the ice with it. in Africa don't just seek the wild animals, meet the people who share their land with them, understanding the challenges they face. From the depths of our jungles to the vast dunes of Africa, the real magic lies in the connections we make, in their voices, their stories, their legacy. So, here it is. Maybe the real answers to living our dreams are found in that little voice inside. This vision that started it all. The one that leads us deeper into the unknown. And maybe it's in that surrender, in letting go of the need to know everything, that we find a purpose. The stories that shape us, the ones that really matter.
Okay, so now you've seen the film. First off, if you made it to the end, then thank you. Really, that means a lot. You know, the truth is, over the years, I stopped taking risks. I got caught up in the system, writing doc after doc for TV and production, waiting for approval, shaping ideas to fit what networks wanted. And if a project didn't get picked up, then I just let it go. At some point, I forgot what it felt like to just make film because I needed to. And that's why I had to make this one. You know, for years, TV was a goal. It felt like the path for a filmmaker. Bigger budgets, wide distribution, recognition. But after nearly 10 long-format documentaries and multiple projects for production, I've realized something. The films that shaped me the most were not the biggest ones. It wasn't about how much funding they had, where they aired, or how many people saw them. It was always the personal ones, the ones where I took risks, where I told the story the way it needed to be told, not just the way it was expected. Of course, TV, funding, festival, open doors, and can help you make a living with it. They matter. But real fulfillment, it comes from making films that really resonate with you, even if they are imperfect, even if there is no budget at all. In the end, what mattered most is creating something that feels true. And that's why I'm here. For years, I tried to make films that had to pass through 10 layers of approval, where someone else decided if the story was worth telling. And don't get me wrong, I love working in that space sometimes, I still do it. But I also know that some of the most important stories are the ones no one is asking for. YouTube lets me share films on my own terms without waiting for permission. And it lets me know who's actually watching, who's connecting. Because in TV, your film airs and then that's it. You have no idea who saw it, what they felt, if it was good or if it wasn't. Here I can share, but also receive, improve myself, connect with people worldwide. And I think that's what's missing in our industry. We also celebrate the films, but we don't talk enough about the people behind them. Their struggle, their doubt, their creative process, how they made it. I want to change that. So yeah, this is a new beginning for me. I'm still making films for TV, but I'm also building something new here. A place where I can take risks again, where I can share my vision freely, where I can connect, build some kind of a community. And I already have some films in work. One of them is happening in Bangkok, and the other one in Peru, which will be actually my first collaboration. And beyond that, I want to show more than just my finished film. The behind the scenes, the mindset that keeps you going when everything feels impossible. And if you're still here, if this story resonates with you, maybe you're part of this too. There is something I've been thinking about a lot. We all talk about success in filmmaking in some way, like it's something external. What if real fulfillment as a filmmaker isn't about the project, but about how true is it for you? What if it isn't about waiting for permission, but about telling the story that actually mattered to you? Because at the end of the day, the films we make will stay, but so will the ones we never dared to create. And I don't want to leave any behind. But now I want to hear from you. What's a story you've been wanting to tell but never dared to? And if you're someone who's trying to find their place in the industry or struggling to take that first step, let me know. Maybe we can all figure it out. And if these films meant something to you, if my story resonates with you even a bit, a like, a comment, a share, it all helps. So yeah, thanks for watching and see you soon then. Bye.